So welcome back to my next stage, which is called we've done all the enhancements, now let's just play with the background. Not a very catchy title, I admit, but it is what we're going to do. So we're going to go back to the image that we've been working with, because you've obviously seen it from start to finish so far. We've got this great image now. I'm really happy with how the model looks. I was happy with how she looked before. Just in case you watch this and thinks that I'm not happy with the look. It was a brilliant shot, and when I first put this image up I left it as it was. I then learnt these techniques and I used them just to enhance it a little bit and make it stand out just a little bit more, and it's a much better image because of it. So now what I'm going to look at, as we mentioned, is adding backgrounds. So what I've got here is some different backgrounds, and when you're using a black background you want to use something that's going to stand out nicely. So the two that I prefer is this one here called Texture 1, or the Cracked Granite. Now these I've just obviously taken from Google Images, so let me just drag that in. And will it let me? We'll put it in as being correct, and we will. How do you do it again? I'm not going to bother. I'm only showing you what I'm doing roughly. So I'm going to select this top little button here that allows me to make adjustments to it. I'm just going to drag it up and I'm going to drag it down. And I'm going to click OK on that. And I'm going to change it to multiply, or you can also use overlay, some along those lines. If I'll keep it on overlay just while we do this. So the first thing that I'm going to do is add a mask, my paintbrush at 100%, again still keeping it on a soft brush, choosing black because we're painting onto the white mask. Let's just open up my brush a little bit, and all I'm going to do is just paint where I don't want the background to be. Now I'm going to do this quite rough because I can go back and I can tweak it at any time, because I'm going to have to make a few different layers on this. That looks reasonably clean, so let's start with that. So I'm now going to keep it on the actual layers, Control and J. Now we can see straight away that's brought it up a bit. I can keep it on overlay, or we can do soft light, and that just adds that background in a little bit better. Now I can do it again, Control J. I can take the opacity down a little bit because I think that's just a little bit too bright. And then all you would do is just zoom in, and if you saw anything like here on the skin, oops, I'll just zoom out a little bit. Right, so you can see here on the skin there's a few. So if I click back on here, this time painting black still, select my brush, take a smaller size. I just want to paint over, click on the next one, paint over, and click on the last one and paint over. And that removes it completely then. Now you might have to do this a few times just to get back to where you want. Now I do prefer this method simply because it gives me the control over where I want the background to lie. I could have masked her off and done it that way, but there's really no need. All you need to do is go around the image and just repaint it all. There we go. Same here. You'll find there'll be parts of the image that the background hits and it'll have no effect on it whatsoever. So for instance, these darker areas, it's not going to show through. Let's zoom out again and step back. It's not too bad there actually. It's fine there. I am generally happy with that. So let's zoom back to the front, and there's your background added. So add your background in, change your blend. So I'll go back. So the first blending mode I did is overlay. I can change that to soft light if I want. Just enhance that up a little bit more. Maybe a bit too dark, so I'll keep it as overlay. I've changed that one to soft light. I've had that one as soft light. I can play around with that and say, well, I want to multiply it. Adds a bit of darkness. Oh, that's actually quite nice. I like that. Just kind of darkens it down a little bit. I'll keep that actually. And that's the background. So that is now officially the end of me editing this image. And we can see all the stages that we've gone through. So we've got our 3 background layers, we've got our 2 enhancement layers where we looked at the hair, eyes and skin, we've got our 2 makeup layers, we've got our skin softening with our 2 filter layers, we have our image pop with our levels and hue, with hue being on soft light, and then we have our blemish removal. And that's the start to finish of a simple edit. Well, simple to me. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope you keep watching for the other tutorials.